Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. You want to know when a man really falls in love. I mean really falls in love. I ain't talking about that first date excitement, or when she posts a cute picture and he double taps with heart eyes. No, I'm talking about that real moment. That moment that hits him in his chest like rents do and he ain't got it. When we think about love, we often imagine that perfect moment when everything aligns, when he meets the perfect woman, or when the timing is right. But real, lasting love doesn't begin in the perfect moments. It begins in the vulnerable, broken, and uncertain spaces. This is when a man truly starts to fall in love, not when things are at their best, but when they are at their worst. You see, men may have this tough exterior, this I've got it all together attitude, but inside, just like anyone else, they face struggles. They deal with insecurities, failures, disappointments, and those moments where it feels like everything is falling apart. And here's where the real test of love begins. It's easy to love someone when everything is going smoothly, when they're winning, confident, and on top of the world. But when they're at their lowest, that's when a person's true character shows up. This is the moment when a man starts to see who she really is. Not just a beautiful woman or someone who can cook a great meal, but someone who will stand by him when the chips are down. He's been knocked around by life, and now he needs someone who sees him for more than his circumstances. He needs someone who sees his potential, who understands that he's a work in progress, and who still believes in him when he can't quite see the way forward. When a man faces a setback, whether it's a loss in his career, a failed dream, or a personal struggle, he's often at his most vulnerable. And that's when he notices how she responds. Does she back away, afraid of the messiness? Or does she lean in, offering support, understanding, and most importantly, patience? This is not the time for her to fix him. It's the time for her to just be their asterisk. A man doesn't need to be told how to get back on his feet. What he needs is someone who believes in him, who sees the man he could be, not just the man he currently is. This moment is where love deepens. It's easy to feel connected when everything is perfect. But when you've been through a storm together, when you've seen each other at your rawest, that's when you build something that's unbreakable. If a woman stands with him in those moments, not because she feels obligated, but because she genuinely cares, he begins to see her differently. He begins to fall in love with her not just for how she looks, or how she makes him feel when he's at his best, but for how she makes him feel when he's at his worst. It's in the moments where he doesn't have to pretend to be someone he's not. It's when he doesn't have to wear the mask of success or put up a front. He's allowed to be human, to be imperfect, and she accepts him just as he is. And let me tell you, that asterisk is when a man truly falls in love, not when everything is perfect and shiny, but when everything is broken and messy, and she still chooses him. Because at that moment he realizes something powerful. Love isn't about who you are when you have everything together. It's about who you are when you have nothing. And that's when love becomes real. When a man truly begins to fall in love, it's not just about grand gestures or flashy displays of affection. It's in the quiet moments when she brings peace into his life. In today's world, we're all busy, stressed, and constantly pulled in 1,000 directions. Life can be chaotic, and it's easy to get swept up in the hustle. But love isn't just about the excitement or the adrenaline. It's about finding a calm in the storm, a place where you can be yourself without the need to perform, pretend, or put up a front. A man, especially one who's navigating the ups and downs of life, needs someone who provides him with that sense of calm and stability. When he's with her, He doesn't have to worry about proving anything. She doesn't expect him to be perfect. She's just there for him. She's his safe space. This is when he realizes the depth of his feelings, because it's not just about the physical attraction or shared interests anymore. It's about how she makes him feel emotionally grounded. A woman who brings peace isn't trying to change him or fix him. She isn't trying to force him to be someone he's not. Instead, she loves him where he is, flaws and all. She listens to him, not to correct him, but to understand him. She doesn't interrupt or judge, but creates a space where he feels comfortable sharing his true self. And when a man feels heard, when he feels like someone genuinely gets him without trying to change him, that's when he begins to fall in love on a deeper level. It's easy to get caught up in the drama of life, especially in relationships. Some people thrive on chaos, constantly stirring up conflict or misunderstanding. But love isn't about living in a constant state of confusion or tension. True love is peaceful. A man who has experienced that peace with a woman starts to see her as his anchor in a world full of distractions. He begins to realize that her calmness isn't weakness, it's strength. It takes strength to be the one who brings peace, to be the one who can offer a sense of balance when everything else seems to be falling apart. For him, it's not just about how she handles the big, important moments, but how she handles the small, everyday moments with grace, how she manages to stay composed in stressful situations, how she offers him support in the quiet ways, even when he's struggling to keep his own composure. It's the way she makes him feel centered, grounded, and focused, even when the world around them feels like it's spinning out of control. When a woman becomes that source of peace for him, that's when his love for her deepens in a way he never anticipated. He begins to look at her not just as someone who makes his life better in the big moments, but someone who makes his life better in the small, everyday moments. She becomes the calm in his chaos, the steady hand he can rely on when everything else feels uncertain. And that's powerful. That's when a man starts to realize he's not just in love with her. He's in love with how she makes him feel, how she makes his life better, just by being who she is. In a world that often feels turbulent and unpredictable, finding someone who brings peace is like finding an oasis in a desert. It's rare, it's precious, and when a man experiences it, he knows he's found something worth holding on to. Love, at its core, is about connection, but true love goes beyond the surface. It's about loving someone for who they are right now, not just who they could become. For a man, falling in love happens not just when a woman sees his potential, but when she sees him the man he is today flaws and all, and accepts him unconditionally. So often we hear that love is about helping someone grow, being their cheerleader for the future, and supporting them to reach their fullest potential. While that is a part of love, it's only one side of the coin. A man needs a woman who can see him in his current form, the man he is right here, right now. He doesn't always need someone to paint a picture of what he could be. He needs someone who sees the value in him as he stands, without needing to change him. This is the moment when love truly begins to shift from attraction to something deeper and more lasting, when a man is constantly striving to become something greater, facing daily pressures, and feeling like he's not yet where he wants to be. He can often feel like he's not enough. This is when he needs a partner who believes in him even in his moments of self-doubt, someone who recognizes the worth in his effort even when the results aren't immediately visible. The ability to love a man for who he is in the moment, and not just who he might be in the future, is a profound act of acceptance. It's about loving his struggles, his insecurities, and even the parts of him that aren't fully polished yet. For a man, the moment he realizes that she loves him for who he is today is a game changer. It shifts his entire perception of the relationship and of her. When he feels accepted and loved as he is, he begins to open up in ways he never thought possible. It's when he lets down his guard, when he stops pretending to be someone he's not, and allows himself to be vulnerable. In those moments of vulnerability, love deepens. He realizes that he doesn't have to constantly be on his toes, constantly chasing perfection or validation. He can just be asterisk, and that is enough. She becomes a mirror, reflecting back to him his worth, even when he can't see it for himself. She doesn't just cheer for him from the sidelines. She's the one standing right there beside him, offering her love in its most genuine form. It's easy to love someone when they're successful, when they're thriving, and when everything is going according to plan. But real love happens in the quieter moments, when he's not his best self, when he's struggling, when he's unsure. And in those moments, she sees him not just as a man with potential, but as a man worthy of love right now. This kind of love isn't based on a checklist of achievements or milestones. It's based on the understanding that a person's value isn't determined by their accomplishments, but by their character, their heart, and their willingness to be vulnerable and authentic. A man begins to fall in love when he feels seen, not just for what he could do, but for who he is, when he realizes that the love is rooted in the present moment, not some idealized version of the future. It's a love that sees through the layers, past the flaws, and embraces him fully, just as he is. When a man feels loved for who he truly is, he doesn't just feel accepted. He feels empowered. He feels like he can be his best self, not because he's striving to meet an unrealistic standard, but because he knows he's already enough. And that's when the love starts to blossom into something deep, strong, and enduring. When a man is truly falling in love, one of the most powerful moments is when she becomes a source of spiritual and emotional support, especially in ways he may not even realize he needs. It's not just about being there for the good times, but about showing up in the most profound, intimate ways during the difficult, uncertain moments of life. It's about being his emotional anchor, his safe haven, and his strength when he feels like he has none left. This type of love is built on faith, patience, and deep understanding. There's something transformative about a woman who prays for him, who lifts him up not only in times of joy, but in the moments of his struggle. When a man faces adversity, it's easy to feel like he's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. And even though he may not always show it, the burden of trying to remain strong can sometimes become overwhelming. But when she prays for him, it's a reminder that he doesn't have to carry it alone. Her faith in him and in their relationship transcends the physical world. It connects them in a deeper way. She doesn't just pray for things to go well in his life, but for his peace of mind, his strength, and his ability to persevere. She's not trying to fix his problems, but she's asking for divine guidance to help him find his way through them. This kind of love is not transactional. It's not about asking for something in return or keeping score. It's rooted in the belief that love can heal, uplift, and support someone in ways words cannot. The act of praying over him, believing in his potential, and showing him unconditional support during his lowest points speaks volumes. This emotional and spiritual bond strengthens the relationship in ways that nothing else can. On a deeper level, when a man sees that a woman loves him enough to support him through her faith and prayers, it shifts the way he views the relationship. He begins to see her not just as someone to share fun moments with, but as someone who has a genuine, heartfelt investment in his well-being. Her spiritual support goes beyond what the eyes can see. It's a constant, quiet presence that reassures him that no matter what challenges lie ahead, he is not alone. Her prayers aren't about trying to change him or fix his problems. They are about affirming his worth and encouraging him to keep moving forward, even when the road ahead feels uncertain. Moreover, this type of emotional and spiritual support often gives a man the strength he needs to do better, to push through, and to rise above the circumstances that seem to weigh him down. When he feels her belief in him, it awakens a belief in himself that he may not have had before. It's not about having all the answers. It's about knowing that, no matter how tough things get, she will be there beside him, helping him find his way. When a woman prays for the growth of a man, for his emotional health, and for his success, not out of a desire to change him, but because she genuinely cares about his happiness, this support helps build trust and respect. The relationship becomes more than just two people sharing their lives. It becomes a partnership grounded in mutual care, love, and the understanding that they will stand by each other, through both the highs and the lows. For a man, the moment he realizes she's not only rooting for him, but also praying for him, whether in the silence of her own thoughts or out loud with him, is the moment his love for her deepens. It's no longer just a connection based on attraction or shared experiences. It's a deep bond of trust and understanding, one that encompasses emotional, spiritual, and physical support. And this, my friends, is when a man knows he's found someone truly special, someone who doesn't just love him for his successes, but for his heart, for his journey, and for the person he's becoming. When a man starts to fall in love, it's not just the big gestures or flashy displays of affection that make him realize how much he cares. Often, it's the small, everyday moments that speak volumes about the depth of a relationship. One of the most powerful things a woman can do in the process of him falling in love is show consistency. Consistency might seem simple, but it carries a weight that goes beyond words. It's in the little things, how she makes him feel in his ordinary moments, not just when life is easy, but especially when life gets complicated. It's easy for a man to feel attracted to someone because of the way they look, the way they dress, or the way they make him feel during exciting or adventurous times. But what really sets love apart, the kind of love that makes a man want to stick around for the long haul, is how someone treats him when the excitement is over. A woman who is consistent in her actions, in her love, and in her presence shows him that her affection isn't fleeting. She's not just there for the good times. She's there for the mundane, the routine, the quiet moments too. For example, how she handles the simple things in a relationship can be just as telling as how she handles the big ones. Does she remember the small details he shares, even if they seem insignificant? Does she take note of the little things that make him smile, or the things that bother him, and act on them with care? These are the moments that matter the most. She's not just loving him in bursts of excitement or with grand romantic gestures. She's loving him in a steady, consistent way that lets him know she's invested in him, not just the idea of him. This type of consistency can also be seen in how she treats him when things aren't perfect. Life isn't always smooth sailing, and everyone has their days when they feel off or frustrated. But it's in those moments that consistency shows up in its most powerful form. A woman who still shows love when he's stressed, tired, or not feeling his best is offering something that transcends superficial attraction. It's a love that doesn't waver when things get tough. And when a man experiences this kind of steadiness, it begins to build trust and a sense of security in the relationship. He knows he can rely on her no matter the circumstances. Another crucial aspect of consistency in love is emotional availability. It's easy to be emotionally open when things are going well, but what happens when the relationship faces challenges, or when one person feels vulnerable or overwhelmed? A woman who is consistently emotionally available is someone who doesn't shut down during tough conversations or retreat when things get difficult. She's there, ready to listen, to talk, and to work through the issues together. This emotional consistency creates a bond of trust and support, making the man feel safe in expressing his fears, doubts, and emotions without fear of judgment or rejection. Moreover, this consistency extends beyond the way she treats him. It also applies to how she handles her own life. A man doesn't just fall in love with a woman because she's good at loving him. He falls in love with her because she shows consistency in her character, her actions, and her values. When she's consistent in her own beliefs, in the way she carries herself, and in the way she manages her own life, it gives him something solid to lean on. She's not just loving him on a whim. She's showing him that love is something grounded, something real, and something enduring. This steadiness in love is what makes a man feel like he can build a future with her. He sees that her affection isn't just dependent on how things are going in the moment, but that she is committed to being there through the highs and the lows. This kind of love is the kind that lasts because it's not built on temporary excitement or fleeting attraction. It's built on a solid foundation of consistency, trust, and mutual care. And when a man experiences that, he knows he's found something rare, something worth holding on to. When a woman is consistent in her love, it becomes the steady pulse that holds the relationship together, making it strong enough to weather any storm. It's not just about the dramatic, attention-grabbing moments. It's about showing up every day with the same care, patience, and love that builds the foundation of a lifelong partnership. And when a man sees that kind of consistency in a woman, it's a love he'll cherish forever. When a man realizes that the woman he's with is rare and irreplaceable, something shifts in him. It's no longer just about liking her or enjoying her company. It becomes about cherishing her, protecting her, and committing fully to the relationship. This is the moment he knows he has found someone extraordinary, someone worth prioritizing above all else. It's the point at which he understands that this love is different from anything he's felt before, and it's when he begins to see the future with her, not just the present. One of the biggest realizations a man can have is that he's found someone who is truly unique. She's not like the others. She's not just another person to share experiences with. She's the one who compliments him, challenges him, and understands him in ways no one else can. This moment of clarity often comes after he's seen how she stands by him during difficult times, how she brings peace when things are chaotic, and how her love feels like a constant, unwavering force in his life. It's when he realizes that she's irreplaceable, not just because of what she does for him, but because of who she is in her essence. When a man recognizes that the woman he's with is one of a kind, he begins to see the relationship in a new light. It's not just about attraction anymore, it's about commitment. He starts thinking long term. His perspective shifts from enjoying the moment to considering the future. He realizes that he doesn't just want her by his side now, he wants her by his side forever. He wants to be there for her in the same way she has been there for him. It's in these moments that his intentions become clear. He wants to build something lasting, something real, and something with depth. The thought of losing her becomes unbearable. When a man recognizes her uniqueness, he realizes that he can't just let this relationship fall by the wayside. He can't afford to take it for granted. She's not someone he can replace, and that knowledge drives him to be a better partner, to show up with more intention, and to invest in the relationship in a way that's meaningful. This is when a man starts to make the relationship a priority. He begins to protect it, to nurture it, and to care for it in a way that reflects the importance she holds in his life. He will cut out distractions, he will set aside his pride, and he will do whatever it takes to keep this bond strong. This is the moment he decides that he's not just going through the motions of a relationship. He's in it for the long haul, and his actions reflect that decision. He takes the time to communicate more openly, to listen more intently, and to make sure that she feels loved and valued. He understands that a relationship isn't something that can be taken for granted. It's something that requires effort, commitment, and ongoing care. Moreover, when a man realizes that she is irreplaceable, he starts to see the future in a different way. No longer is he focused solely on the present or on his own individual goals. He starts to think about how his life will align with hers, how they will grow together, and how they will face challenges side by side. The idea of a shared life becomes important to him. He starts making decisions that reflect his desire to build something sustainable, whether it's planning for a family, purchasing a home together, or simply ensuring that they continue to nurture their bond. This commitment, this awareness of her rarity, is also the moment when a man begins to protect the relationship more fiercely. He recognizes that real love is precious, and he values it. He'll go out of his way to make her feel cherished, to make sure she knows how much she means to him. He'll put in the work to show her that he's serious about the future, because he understands that this kind of love doesn't come around often, and he's not willing to let it slip away. The realization that she's rare and irreplaceable is often the turning point where a man transitions from casual affection to full commitment. It's the moment when he truly falls in love, not just with the idea of her, but with who she is, what she brings to his life, and the unique connection they share. And when a man reaches this point, he's ready to commit, to show up, and to give his best to the relationship. He's no longer just a man in love. He's a man who is deeply, wholly invested in making the relationship work and in building a future together. This is when he knows that he's found something worth holding on to forever.